Listening. You are going to listen to a talk about Alexandre Dumas. Welcome to the book program. Today, we're going to find out something about Alexandre Dumas. Dumas was one of France's most famous writers of adventure stories, including The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo. To tell us more, today's studio guest is John Holder, a lecturer in French literature at the City University. John, could you start by telling us something about Dumas's early life? Hello. Well, let's start at the beginning. Dumas was born near Paris in 1802. His father was an important man in the French army, but as a young soldier, he had suffered from imprisonment and he died when Alexander was only 4 years old. So, was he brought by his mother? That's right. After his father had died, she didn't send Alexander to school, so she kept him at home. This means that the young Alexander had a lonely childhood. How did he start to write? Well, by the time Alexander was 20, his mother had spent all her money and he went to live in Paris. He found work as a secretary to someone who had been a friend of his father's in the army. But he found this work boring and started writing plays. Plays, not novels? That's right. Today we know Dumas for his novels, but long before he wrote The Three Musketeers and the Count of Monte Cristo, he had become famous as a playwright. In one year, 1831, 5 of his plays were performed in Paris. That's amazing. So, when did he write his adventure novels? The Three Musketeers and the Count of Monte Cristo were published in 1844 and 1845. They were immediate successes and made Dumas a rich man. These were historical novels, weren't they? Yes, they were, but they weren't all historically accurate. Dumas was mainly interested in writing exciting adventure stories, so he often changed what really happened in history. And his readers didn't object to this? No, although some people were not happy when they discovered that Dumas had been employing other people to write for him. Do you mean he didn't write the books himself? That's right. Sometimes he paid assistants to write the stories in his style. Then he corrected and improved what they had written, and the books were published with his name on the cover. But he was a successful writer, wasn't he? Yes, very successful. He had a very good life and became very rich. Unfortunately, although he made a lot of money, he also lost it very quickly. Towards the end of his life, his son took care of his father's finances until he died in 1870. That's very interesting. Thank you very much for telling us about the life and work of Alexandre Dumas. Are these sentences true or false? Dumas's father was an important politician. False. His mother sent him to a school very near to the family home. False. In Paris, Dumas worked for a man who had known his father. True. Dumas first became famous as a novelist. False. His novels told the truth about history. False. His novels were not all his own work. True. Dumas was not very careful with his money. True. Thanks for listening with Nafham. Learn easily and simply.